G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. My name's Cody and today I will be giving you my round 26 NRL tips of the 2023 season. This is the penultimate round of the season. We're only 2 rounds away until the finals, which kick off in 2 weeks. So last week I managed to get 5 out of 8 games correct in round 25. The games I lost were the Cowboys, they were destroyed by the Sharks. Bunnies, we lost to the Knights quite comfortably, and also the Tigers lost by 1 point. I'd say the Dolphins lost by 1 point against the Tigers. So hopefully we can have a better round this round. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Anyways, our first game kicking off, which is on Thursday night, kicking off 7:50 p.m. at Bluebet Stadium. It is the grand final rematch from last year, the second encounter for this year. It is the Penrith Panthers taking on the Parramatta Eels, the second grand final rematch of this year. Now, Eels, they can't make the 8 anymore, but they lost to the Roosters, 34 points to 12 at CommBank last week, and this will be their final game of 2023, as they will have their third and final bye in round 27. And as for Penrith, too good against Gold Coast. They were struggling for a bit against the Titans, then they went away to win 40 points to 14 up there at Gold Coast last week. In the past 10 games between these two, Panthers have won 6 of the past 10 games, which includes winning 4 straight between 2020 and 21. However, Penrith have won 3 of the past 5 games. And earlier in the year, Para went on the win by 1 point, 17 points to 16 in their first encounter this year. For this game, these two teams are different now. Penrith 13 plus. Penrith to win by 20. I'm going scoreline 28 points to 8. Now we are on to the Friday night fixtures. The first one kicking off at 6 p.m. here in New South Wales, 8 p.m. over there in New Zealand. It is the mighty New Zealand Warriors, who are on a 6-game winning streak, taking on the St George Illawarra Dragons at Daniel Anderson Stadium. I think it's going to be renamed back to Go Media Stadium, or just call it Mount Smart Stadium, after it was called Daniel Anderson Stadium last week. Warriors, they've been playing very well this year, like I said, for the last couple of rounds, as they beat the Manly Sea Eagles. Warriors weren't convincing, but they found a way to win. They beat Manly 29 points to 22 last week. And as for the Dragons, they lost to the Melbourne Storm in quite a competitive and great game, to be honest. Going into that one, thought they would get smoked by the Storm. How wrong I was. However, they still lost 38 points to 28 in Wollongong last week. In the past 10 games between the Dragons and Warriors, the Warriors have won 6 of the past 10 games. However, Dragons have won 3 of the past 4, and earlier this year, back in June, Warriors killed the Dragons, winning 48 points to 18 in Wollongong, which Warriors have had a terrible record winning in Wollongong, but they got that win earlier in June. For this game, obviously, will be competitive, but I think Warriors will be too good. I'll go Warriors to win 1-12 by 10. I'll go the Warriors to win, to go 28-18 as the score. And our final Friday night fixture, taking place for the first time at Suncorp Stadium since, I think it's around 18 or 17 since Suncorp Stadium was used for a game. It is another Queensland derby. It is the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium. Last week, the Cowboys are coming off a shocking and disappointing loss against the Sharks up in Townsville, 32 points to 12. And as for Dolphins, they lost by 1 point at CommBank Stadium against the Tigers, losing 24-23. That means the Dolphins have not won a single game in their 3 games in Sydney this year. They lost to Manly for the first time. They lost to the Roosters at Allianz, and now they lost to the Tigers by 1 point, 24-23. And this game has some implications with it. This will potentially be the final game the Cowboys will try to get inside the top 8 if they do lose. However, if they do win, they still have a chance of making it. But this is a do or die situation here for the Cowboys. And as for Dolphins, they've done very well this year in their first season. Hopefully, I think they're not in the bottom four at the moment. I could be wrong, but if they can finish outside the top four, that will be great. Now, this is only the second time these two would have met for this year, as back in April, these two met. Dolphins went on to win 32-22 up in Townsville. For this game, I'll go Cowboys to win for this one. I know I've tipped the Cowboys in the past couple of weeks. They've mostly lost, but surely they have to bounce back. And yes, I know I want the Cowboys to lose because we'll have to bye regardless. Well, we'll be 2 points clear of them, but I don't think it's going to happen. Cowboys to win 1-12. I'll go Cowboys to win by 8. I'll go scoreline. Let's go 30-22. Now we move on to Super Saturday. First of 3 games, kicking off at 3 p.m. down there at Amy Park in Melbourne. It is the Melbourne Storm taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Titans. They could have had the chance to win against Penrith, but ultimately they couldn't pick up with the Panthers, losing 40 points to 14 up on the Gold Coast last week. And as for Melbourne, they only just went on to beat the Dragons in a competitive game, 38 points to 28 in Wollongong on the weekend. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, Storm have won 8 in a row, and they've won 8 of the past 9 games. However, Gold Coast did beat them earlier this year, winning 38 points to 34 in a high-scoring game on the Gold Coast back in March. And the last time that the Titans won in Melbourne was in 2014, where they won 28 points to 26. It's been almost a decade since the Titans have won in Melbourne. For this game, obviously, Melbourne, I think top 4 spot they're going to try and get, because them and Sharks keep going back and forth. I'll go Melbourne to win 13 plus. Gold Coast don't stand a chance. Melbourne to win by 16. Scoreline, let's go 24 points to 8. Now we move on to our next Saturday fixture, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. at Allianz Stadium. It is the Sydney Roosters taking on the West Tigers, kicking off at 5:30. This will be the Tigers' first time to do the brand new Allianz Stadium. Tigers, they finally got a win. Lost 10 in a row, but they finally managed to get a win. They didn't have a good record at CommBank, but they finally got a win there. They won 24 points to 23 over the Dolphins. And as for the Roosters, too good against the Eels. They won 34-12 at CommBank last week as well. Funny enough, both these teams played at CommBank. Now they're playing at the same venue at Allianz this time. That's funny. Now, this game will also have some implications. Now, we may say that Roosters will flog the Tigers. I don't think they're going to flog the Tigers. I think it'll be a close game. Now, if Tigers just trying to still avoid the spoon. Now, if Tigers do lose this game, they will be confirmed to get the spoon regardless if they win against Manly or not in the final round, as the points differential between the Dragons and Tigers is huge. And I don't think the Tigers will have enough to catch up the Dragons. But however, if Tigers do win their final 2 games, Tigers do win their final 2 games, they will not get the spoon. Dragons will get them if they lose their 2 final games as well. But have to wait. And as for the Roosters, if they choke this game, then they've got to play us in the final round. And I've already been hearing, and it's likely confirmed before time of this recording, that Latrell will get suspended for 1 game, most likely. That means he'll be out for round 27 against the Roosters. That will be a massive blow. He won't do anything in that game anyway, but I'll get to round 27 when it's officially confirmed. And as in the past 10 games between these two, Roosters have won 9 of the past 10. Last time the Tigers won was back in 2018, where they won 10 points to 8. And funny enough, the Roosters have won 17 of the past 20 games against the Tigers. The last time that the Tigers actually won at the Sydney Football Stadium, if we're going back to the old ground as well, was back in 2009, where they won 17 points to 10 against the Roosters. So the Tigers don't have a good record at the Sydney Football Stadium at all. But for this game, I will go the Roosters to win Yeah, I won't be surprised if Tigers do win. I think Roosters will just win. I think I'll go Roosters to win by 6. I'm going to go scoreline 24-18. Come on, Tigers. Beat these bloody Chooks, please, because I don't want them making the 8. And the final game to wrap up the Saturday fixtures, kicking off at 7:35 p.m. in Canberra. It is the Canberra Raiders taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Broncos, they were too good last week. Broncos were too good back in round 24 against the against the Eels, winning 54-10. As for last week, they had their third and final bye. They are looking to potentially win the minor premiership for this year. The only way they can win it is if Penrith drop a game. And as long as they Broncos win their last 2 games as well, I think they'll finish in second, but I don't see Penrith dropping either this week's game against the Eels or the Cowboys next week. But wait to see what happens. And as for the Raiders in a competitive game against the Bulldogs, they won. Potentially they secured a top 8 finish, but they've still got 2 more games to go, and they've got a tough one against Brisbane this week, and they've got a tough game against the Sharks next week as well. So Raiders could still fall out of the 8. I'm not too sure, but I don't know what will happen. We'll have to wait and see. As in the past 10 games between these two as well, Brisbane have won 6 of the past 10 games. However, Raiders have won 4 of the past 5, which includes getting a win over the Broncos up in Brisbane, winning 20 points to 14 back in April. And the last time that the Broncos won in Canberra was back in 2017, where they beat the Raiders 30 points to 20. Yeah, this won't be an easy game, but for this game, I will back the Broncos 13 plus. Broncos to win by 22. I don't see the Raiders winning this one because they've horrible points differential as well, and they still can't win a game 13 plus as well. The Raiders, they won by 12 last week. They still can't win 13 plus. Broncos to win 36-14. Now we move on to the Sunday fixtures. The first one kicking off at 2 p.m. Also returning for the first time since round 19, Bulldogs are back at Accor Stadium, as the call was used for the Women's FIFA World Cup, which ended as of this recording yesterday on Sunday night, which Spain won. Good on them for winning. Bulldogs take on Manly, Warringah Sea Eagles at Accor Stadium on the Sunday. Last week, the Bulldogs were a lot more better, but they still lost to Canberra, losing 36 points to 24 after they were demolished against the Knights the week before, 42 points to 6. And as for Manly, their season is also over. However, they were in the game against the Warriors for most part. They even led at 1 point at halftime, but didn't score a single point in the second half, losing 29-22 over there at Daniel Anderson Stadium last week over there in New Zealand. In the past 10 games between these two, Manly have won 8 of the past 10, which includes winning 7 of the past 8 fixtures. However, they do not have a good record at Accor. Now, I believe the last time Manly won at Accor was back in 2020, where they beat the Dogs 32 points to 20. They've won 12 or 13 of they've lost 13 or 14 of their past 15 games at Accor Stadium, which is horrible. Wow. So, but for this game, however, this is a nothing game as well. I'll go Manly to win 1-12. Surely they must win at Accor eventually. I'll go Manly to win by 6. Scoreline going 18-12. And now the final game to wrap up round 26 of the NRL 2023. It is taking place at McDonald Jones Stadium where I was at last week. It is the Newcastle Knights, who have won 7 in a row now, taking on the Cronulla Sharks, who have bounced back to finish in the top 8. Now, both of these teams are both confirmed for the top 8 now, but whoever wins or loses, Knights could still mathematically could still get the top 4, but very unlikely now. But Sharks could still get the top 4 as well. Now, last week the Sharks went on the win Sharks went on to win against the Cowboys last week, beating them 32 points to 12 in Townsville. And as for the Knights, they defeated my boys yesterday 29-10. Now, there was some controversy, but didn't really take off the result anyway. Knights were too good against the Bunnies. I don't know what happened with the Bunnies. I'm not going to get into that as they've got the bye this week, thank goodness. But this should be an entertaining game and potentially a game of the round as well. Now, in the past 10 games between these two, the Sharks have won, it's been 5 games apiece really, but Sharks have won 6 of the past 10. However, Sharks have won 3 of the past 5. And the last time the Sharks won in Newcastle was last year, but before that, the last time the Sharks had won in Newcastle before 2022 was in 2018, where they beat them 48 points to 10. So this game could go either way because they're both in great form, but because it's in Newcastle, I will back Newcastle to win this game 1-12. I'll go Knights to win by 4. I'll go scoreline. Let's go 22-18. Can't underestimate the Knights this year, but they've done very well to make the top 8. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude my round 26 NRL tips of 2023. This is going to be a great round to watch. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss out on another video. We're also very close to reaching 1,300 subscribers, which I'm guaranteed to reach sometime this week. So I just want to say thank you all so much for getting me to this milestone. If it wasn't for you guys, I would not be as successful as I thought I would be. But anyways, everyone, this will conclude the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, see you all in later.